Le fût dont je vous parlais, ND Max System, c'est un fût qui fait également partie et qui est à lui tout seul une innovation puisqu'il est entièrement recyclé, donc en matériaux recyclés. Il pèse moins d'1 kilo, c'est-à-dire que même une femme chargée peut l'utiliser et ce n'est pas rien parce qu'il y a aussi des barmaids, on ne parle pas que de barman. C'est donc un outil que vous allez pouvoir installer facilement et c'est un outil qui lui aussi est connecté. Entendez que ce fût est équipé d'une nouvelle génération de puces qu'on appelle les tags et qui vont permettre lors de sa mise en place de connecter en fait le fût avec les différents logiciels qui y sont attachés. Le producteur par ce biais pourra ainsi connaître et savoir que son fût et que son produit est utilisé et modifier s'il le souhaite un certain nombre d'informations. Alors, on peut se poser la question de savoir à qui est destiné ce ND Max System, cette table de distribution de liquide connectée. Eh bien, quelque part à tous les endroits qui débitent de la boisson, qui servent de la boisson, également des campings, des salles de spectacle, des clubs. Et vous allez pouvoir l'installer facilement. C'est un outil mobile qui se branche sur une simple prise électrique. Et ensuite, il suffit donc d'installer le liquide de son choix, du vin rouge, du cidre, de la bière, du jus de fruits, peu importe, et de connecter le consommateur à ce système de distribution de liquide. Alors comment est-il connecté ce consommateur? Eh bien grâce à un petit bracelet que le barman lui remet, que le responsable de l'endroit où est installé le système lui remet, et il va commencer par créditer sur ce bracelet une somme d'argent qui va correspondre à son besoin de consommation. Si je puis dire autrement, ses envies de consommation. Veut-il boire beaucoup ou peu? Veut-il surtout offrir des verres? Et on pourrait se poser la question de savoir justement si ce système ne va pas pousser à la consommation. La réponse est toute trouvée non, puisque elle est ludique, elle se fait en société et surtout le barman peut, grâce à la tablette qui gère donc le système de distribution, contrôler exactement la boisson que le consommateur va vouloir prendre durant sa soirée. Donc au bout de quelques verres, s'il estime que le consommateur a un peu trop abusé, il peut lui envoyer un message sur l'écran que le consommateur verra en allant se servir, en lui disant « Écoutez, nous nous excusons, mais pour l'instant, nous estimons que vous avez suffisamment bu pour ce moment de la soirée. On va donc faire une petite pause avant que vous puissiez consommer. » Alors, autre avantage de ce ND Max System, donc sinon le ludisme et l'interactivité qu'il va créer entre le consommateur et la machine, mais aussi entre le barman, la machine, le consommateur et le producteur, eh bien c'est qu'il va permettre de créer des statistiques pour le bar, de savoir combien de fois le consommateur sera venu à la machine, combien de verres il aura bu, qu'est-ce qu'il aura préféré comme produit sur les 3 installés, etc. etc. Donc c'est vraiment une belle innovation, ND Max System, que vous pouvez voir donc sur l'espace Food Studio ici pour ce Sirha 2015. Deuxième produit, deuxième innovation de ce Sirha, c'est un produit qui se destine quant à lui au chef, c'est un coulis de légumes. Il existait beaucoup, je le montre, il existait beaucoup de coulis de fruits sur le marché, mais pas de coulis de légumes. On ne trouvait pour la décoration des assiettes que des vinaigres balsamiques, souvent plutôt acides et de piètre qualité. Donc le leader mondial des herbes fraîches s'est dit qu'il allait pouvoir travailler dans ce sens et offrir aux chefs le moyen de signer leurs assiettes de manière, on va dire, contemporaine, ludique, mais aussi naturelle. Donc ces produits sont composés exclusivement d'herbes fraîches, de légumes, et ont été pensés à la fois par Darrigal, donc qui signe ce coulis, mais aussi par le chef triplement étoilé Christian Lesquer, qui a travaillé et insisté justement pour que l'utilisation des herbes aromatiques soit tenue. On a réfléchi, enfin je dis on a, Darrigal et Christian Lesquer ont réfléchi à trouver des herbes et des légumes qui soient chromatiques. Entendez par là que la couleur soit vive et qu'elle soit belle sur l'assiette et qu'elle ne s'éteigne pas avec le temps. Parce que ça aussi c'est important, on peut le signaler. Le produit que je vous présente là, vous le recevez dans vos cuisines congelé. Donc vous le placez au congélateur, vous pouvez le conserver plusieurs mois ou plusieurs semaines selon le débit que vous en avez. Ensuite, 7 heures suffisent au réfrigérateur ou dans une cellule de froid positif pour qu'il reprenne cette texture liquide. Ensuite, on enlève le petit bouchon et la texture fluide, la matière fluide du flacon permet avec la précision de l'embout de faire des ronds, d'écrire, de faire des virgules, des points. Voilà. Vous pouvez marier bien sûr les couleurs, mais aussi les parfums. Il y a 8 produits dans la gamme J'en ai sélectionné 3 pour vous les présenter. Ici, c'est le vert toscan, donc c'est un coulis purement basilic. L'orange feu, qui marie le coulis de piment et le gingembre. Et enfin, le vert prairie, ce sont tous des très jolis noms, qui est un coulis de persil à 100%. Donc voilà, pas de texturant, pas de conservateur, ce n'est que du 100% produit naturel. Tous ces produits-là, vous pouvez donc les retrouver sur le stand de Darigal. Le stand de Darigal se trouve, j'ai perdu le stand, c'est bien dommage. Si je l'ai trouvé, Hall 3, stand D79 et l'autre produit, stand numéro voilà, stand E47, j'y arrive,
Oui.
et Hall 2-1, pardon, pour ces hésitations.
De toute façon, il nous faut un GPS pour s'orienter dans ce
Oui,
salon.
quelque part.
Merci beaucoup Michel en tout cas et nous allons rester sur ce même thème, le thème de l'innovation, en s'intéressant bien sûr aux tendances de l'hôtellerie-restauration et qui dit tendance, dit ici au Sirha Frédéric Loeb qui est en compagnie de Tiffany Conroy.
Well, you join me now to talk about the future of food service in the country and around the world. And we're going to get a glimpse of what the next 5 years might have to offer, thanks to the International Trends in Gastronomy forward-looking book, which is this one, Trends and Ideas, book 2015 to 2019. Now, the man behind this, and to explain more, is Frédéric Loeb of Loeb Innovation. And he has been doing a lot of the research and compiling this report. So, Frédéric, very much welcome to our set here at Sirha TV. Tell me a little bit more about what has gone into producing this fantastic trends book.
In fact, the Sirha and the World Cuisine Summit look like a big laboratory. We do now for 5 years big research, quantitative research, qualitative research, and projection in the future, forecasting, and we try to imagine to see what will be the future of food service industry.
And how many people have you spoken to get these results?
A lot. This year, for these new editions, we have interviewed 600 people from 20 different countries.
Amazing. And is there a lot of consensus of opinion between different countries, different regions?
There are some real consensus on 4 main subjects and quite big difference that, you know, food and food service especially is quite local. It's a cultural local. You don't eat the same thing when you come from South Africa, South America, and you come from Northern Europe. But their main trends are now global.
Okay, and these are for every kind of restaurant that you can imagine. They're from your fast food outlet all the way up to your fine dining. Is that right?
That's what, exactly. That's why our vision to say food service is not only fine cuisine. I refuse to say gastronomy as a French one because gastronomy looks like the point of view of the client, of the eater. It's a 19th century vision of the food. We try to develop something more actual, and it's based on four levels of food. On the top, you have the fine cuisine, which is very close to the French gastronomy, but now it's worldwide. There are chefs from everywhere, and we can see at the Bocuse d'Or, for example, there are 62 countries from, and very, very high level from different main countries. So that's the top. On the base, we have the quick service. People say sometimes fast food. I prefer quick service because fast food is to eat fast. But the client don't want eat fast; they want to be served fast. That in food service, you have the name of food, the fast service. So in between, you have 2 categories. One is fast casual, with about, in fact, food service, quick service with high quality products. So it's a bigger trends in the US, especially in the UK. And then we have between fine cuisine and fast casual, something with naming casual dining, with about you're seated. It's a full service restaurant, but with less expensive menus.
A sort of more casual midweek outing, perhaps,
exactly.
rather than a special Saturday night.
For me, it's a week place. The week is the center of the future because it's completely a challenge.
Yes.
It's the worst place actually.
And what can you summarize what your main key findings are for the main trends that then you talk about become mega trends.
So we have four. We have identified 2 years ago for the first World Cuisine Summit, and they're still there. 4 mega stakes, big stakes that will never change, and the stakes are transformed into. The answer to those stakes are 4 mega trends. Do you want me to begin with the stakes?
Well, let's talk about them because things are changing, I think, aren't they? You did the report 2 years ago. Is there a change in the sorts of themes that are coming through for the next 5 years, for the future? Are we on the cusp of a revolution in food service?
In fact, the stakes are still there and completely legitimate and reinforced. In fact, our trends are quite a reinforcement of trends we have identified 2 years ago.
And the mega trends you talked about are here on page 53 of the report.
Yes.
And the first one that I've noticed is to do with durability and sustainability. It translates as a mega trend of frugal and local cuisine.
Yes, that was our big surprise to see that everywhere in the world, even in China, even in Brazil, even in countries are emerging countries, we didn't imagine that people are very conscious about what they eat. And the problem of productions, you know, we are in 20 years, it will be 9 billion people on the earth, and all to feed everybody. That's big questions. And the food service and the restaurant owners are completely have identified these trends. And the answer was proposed is frugal. Does mean we have to discover new recipes, new way of eating, the way of using the leftovers to optimize the use of raw food.
So in fact, using everything basically,
Yes.
not just the prime cuts, but
No,
the
exactly.
other cuts as well.
The American culture was that they only use prime cuts
Yes.
and they put the garbage rest.
Yes.
The idea are 2 mega cultures who eat everything. The Chinese one, the French one.
Okay. And okay, well let's look at the second mega trend, and that's health. Now that is finally getting there with a lot of countries that perhaps had put it second or a long way down their list.
It become obvious, and we also were surprised because in our research, it proves that the people, if at the restaurant, they accept to, and the clients of restaurant, they will accept to become some advices or diets from restaurant. It was a surprise because the only country with restaurants not to manage the health is France.
Okay.
And so.
And just to say that we also got things like the technology that's coming into here.
Yes.
And this is because we live in a very digital age. The 21st century is digital. People want things tailored to them. They want it online. They want to be able to order it. They want it specifically. This fits in here as well, doesn't it?
Yes, it's a big revolution, and it will change completely the food service industry. And so for the moment, only perhaps the Americans or Australian countries are very we are taking and doing things in some countries like Europe and south of Europe, very traditional.
Mm-hmm. And finally, the uniqueness, there's this cuisine refondation, the education and beau geste. Explain a bit about that. Is that very much going to be at the top end?
No, not only top end. We have a big problem. It's a problem globally. We see that people have a problem of human resources and educations of people in the kitchen. That's a big, like an oxymoron, a paradox. You see on TV, there are a lot of TV shows about food and cuisine, and nobody in the food is in the cooking or cook schools. And now how to educate people to be able to open and to manage a restaurant. That's a big challenge in every country, in the US, in emerging countries, of course, and also in France, in the UK, in Germany, everywhere.
And then have I missed one out? I'm just looking, there's experience as well, isn't it? There's this postmodernist cuisine.
That's the most funny thing. It's about the future of new gesture, new things they develop as the chefs. And we call it postmodernism because, you know, it was a big trend about modernist cuisine. It was molecular cuisine, to use new ingredients, chemical ingredients to do something new with kitchen. Now it's postmodernism. People have completely mastered the new ingredients, and there's new technologies that will help the chefs to develop amazing new recipes.
And of course, here at Sirha, we see some of those being put into some kind of practice. We get an idea through the concepts in the food studio, where essentially it's a zone of innovation where we're going to get an idea and maybe inspire people in the food service industry to do things differently
In
for
the
the
fairs,
future?
there are two big places. One is a food studio, who is developed with 4 partners. Each partner is linked to a trend. And another place called the Sixième Sens, who are new restaurant have been developed with the students of the Institut Paul Bocuse, who works also on the trends books restaurant ideas. And they develop real restaurants. There are 4 real restaurants linked by each restaurant is linked with a trend. It's all 6.
And the question I guess we would ask is that this is looking into the future. Do you see already some of the trends that you were talking about 2 years ago in reality in restaurants?
That we are very proud that our trend books from 2 years ago, almost 80% of the trends have been now embodied by real restaurants around the world.
Are there any that surprise you that have happened that you weren't expecting to happen?
Of course, because real people, real professionals do even better than marketing and trendsetter guys. But also there are some trends that come from nowhere, and we have to catch them and to size them before they come everywhere.
Now, you said in an article ahead of Sirha that actually there's an awful lot of work to be done on a lot of the general service restaurants that still will offer steak, chips, salad. Because people who go out to eat, quite often, if it's there on the menu, they'll choose that rather than something different.
You know, I will go into a marketing secrets. In a restaurant, generally in a good restaurant, 20% of the menu is transformed into 80% of the business. So that's why we call them the signature dishes. Mm-hmm. And a good restaurant has to identify its signature dishes.
And let's just concentrate on one country, because you also look at different countries' views on things. Now, France has traditionally been very much in at the heart of traditional cuisine. They've also pushed the boundaries through Paul Bocuse. But there is a bit of a battle now, isn't there, for the French food service to move forward, do you think?
To be frank, the World Cuisine Summit is organized for that. It's to say, French is a country of excellence, and you know, many chefs in the world use French culture and French techniques. But now the world is global, and food culture and fine cuisine is global. And now we are really challenged. But the idea is to consider as a chance and not to fight against it.
Anything else that stands out for you country-wise in terms of the Americans perhaps shifting towards a better view towards the food that they eat when they eat out? Because
big revolutions in countries like the Americans. You know, when the Americans they begin something, they do it better than the rest of the world. I don't know why, but suddenly they decide to learn the wine. Perhaps the best wine drinker in the world. Actually, they're becoming very, very high level in fine cuisine. For me, New York is a city in the world, with Paris and Lyon, of course, where you eat the best.
Yes. Absolutely. Now, just one final thing for you. How valuable is an event like Sirha for getting these messages across?
You know, food is coming through you have to taste it concretely. It's like it's not a new technology. So in the Sirha, you can taste, you can try, you can see, and you can discuss. It's the best place for that. It's like a big market.
It's like a melting pot.
It's a melting
pot of
It's the most exciting melting pot of cuisine and cooking, globally regional food service.
And you must get a lot of satisfaction out of seeing what you put in this
That's
report.
very, very exciting. To imagine something and to see in real.
I mean, do you ever walk down a street and see a restaurant and say, that was in my book?
It's even a big emotion for me to see that.
Yes.
To see, wow.
Well, it is a massive book and very, very full of information that I think you will find very, very interesting. Frederick Loeb, thank you very much indeed. And of course, you can get a copy of this. There's copies being sold at the stand just next to us here at the Food Studio. Also, you can buy it in the Sirha boutique, and you can order it online as well. But Frederick, just one final thing. When you come here every year, do you look around in wonderment at the innovation that you are seeing? Because you're predicting it, and yet there's still stuff happening right now.
You want to say that?
Yes, go on, tell me. What do you think?
So many things to say. It's a little bit
Oh,
difficult to
goodness
say.
me, we
in
haven't
one
got all
sentence.
afternoon, sadly.
That's a surprising question.
But it's a very exciting time. I'm very proud.
Yes,
proud
and
thing
things
to be
are very
involved
good.
in.
So I don't see everything, but for what I see, it's a crisis, a global crisis. The answer is a lot of innovation on a lot of booths.
Brilliant. Well, certainly a fantastic inspiration for everybody. Thank you so much for coming in to
You're
talk to us about it. Frederick Loeb, beg your pardon, Loeb of Loeb Innovation. Thank you.
Merci à vous Tiffany, merci aussi à Michel et à Livia d'avoir été à mes côtés aujourd'hui pour cette première édition de notre Web TV Sirha. Demain, un programme tout aussi riche que celui d'aujourd'hui puisque nous recevrons Olivier Streff. Olivier Streff est un cuisinier qui a participé au dernier tournage de la nouvelle saison de Top Chef sur M6. Nous réaliserons une recette en compagnie de Grégory Cuilleron, cuisinier lui aussi, et animateur de la tournée des popotes en France. Nous parlerons également des nouvelles règles nutritionnelles en restauration collective, ainsi que des nouveaux enjeux environnementaux. Voilà, tout un programme, c'est demain à ne pas louper. Merci à toute l'équipe technique d'avoir assuré cette première journée. On reste connecté évidemment sur le www.sirha-tv.com et je vous donne rendez-vous ici même demain. Même endroit, même heure.